Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana 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 Jashodanandana Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hare Bol Gaura Hare Bol Nitai Gaura जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद जवाएंगे सभाई चरण अरविंद भक्त Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gaura. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So this seminar is, or class is called Tips for Talking to Krishna. And this is, the reason for the seminar is because we all encounter times in life when we have a need to talk to Krishna. And we've all encountered this, I think. And if we haven't, it just means we haven't lived long enough yet. And the world hasn't given us enough problems. But at some point, we'll have a need to talk to Krishna and bring our problems, our needs, our desires, our prayers to Him. And in other words, we'll have a need to communicate with Krishna. And when we communicate with anyone, any person, any entity, then there are always strategies for effective communication, right? I mean, just like if you're working in a job, then they often give you training on how to do effective communication, how to communicate effectively with your clients or your customers or your boss or your co-workers. And there are ways in which we can communicate well and ways in which we can communicate poorly. And so the same is true in regards to Lord Krishna. We go to the Lord, and everyone in this world finds a reason to go to God, right? I mean, you can go all over the world, and every person in every culture is seeking some communication with God, is going in front of God and asking for something, speaking their mind. And Krishna receives more messages, email messages, and communications than any one of us on this planet, right? He has more Facebook fans than the best celebrity in this world. Krishna is worshipped in every town and village of the world under so many different names and alibis. And Krishna deals with all of their requests, right? But if we want our requests to have a better chance of being heard, then we need to learn some strategies for effective communication with Krishna. Just like if you're sending your resume out for a job, 90% of resumes that show up in a job in an employer's hands, what happens to them? They head straight to the dustbin, right? Straight to the trash can. They look at it for, they say approximately 3 seconds on average, and they head into the trash can. Now, Krishna doesn't do that with anyone's applications. Krishna takes everyone seriously. And so it's not that Krishna won't listen. It's just that it's much better for us if we learn how should we approach Krishna to both maximize the chance that he'll listen to us, but more importantly, since he'll always listen to us, more importantly, to maximize the chance that we will benefit from that encounter. Because everyone goes to Krishna and they ask for something, but not everyone gets the maximum benefit possible from that encounter, right? Otherwise, the world would be a place full of pure devotees. Instead, we have all different kinds of types of people in this world. So, tips for talking to Krishna. How do we communicate with Krishna? Now, the first worry to dispel is that as devotees, we often hear the refrain that it's best not to ask anything from Krishna. This is, of course, true. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sings, "Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye." He says, I don't want anything from Krishna, not wealth, not followers, none of that. I just want your devotional service birth after birth. Bhavatad bhaktira haituki tvayi. At the same time, we have to also realize the fact that we are often faced with circumstances where we have to ask Krishna something. We have to speak to him. Sometimes it's asking for something material, something spiritual. Sometimes it's psychological in nature. But I think it would be a very dishonest person who said they never have been to Krishna to ask for something. The reality is we often have desires because we're not purified yet. We're not pure devotees as yet. We're not so advanced like Prahlad Maharaj that he can be attacked by his father, Hiranyakashipu, in so many ways. And he doesn't even ask once Krishna to protect him. Right? Krishna protects him, but he doesn't even ask for it. Right? It's very unusual, unlikely for that to happen. So given our level as devotees, then we have to be honest and say, okay, I have certain needs and desires and wants, so how can I fulfill them? And the point is, it is better to go to Krishna than to anyone else. Much better to go to Krishna than to go to anyone else. Akama sarvakamo va moksha kamo darivi. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purushapara. We should go to the Supreme Lord, Krishna, for all our desires. Whether we have desires or we don't have desires, we should approach him. Now, as background, first of all, let me ask you to chip in a little bit and suggest some reasons. Why is it that we should approach Krishna for our needs rather than, say, one of the other devas or some rich celebrity in this world or our boss? Or why should we ultimately ask Krishna for whatever our needs and desires and wants and shortcomings might be? What is the benefit of going to Krishna as opposed to others? Some suggestions? Yeah. So good point, that we should go to the source, right, to the supplier. We know right from the beginning that if for anything that you want, if you go to the source of it rather than to a third party or fourth party, you're likely to get a more reliable product. You're likely to get something that's going to be at a better price. You have to pay less for it. The costs of actually going and asking something from someone else tend to be very high, right? If you go ask a favor from someone in this world, then what do they want? They want an arm and a leg from you in return for that. You owe me one, right? You've heard that before? You owe me one, right? Because I gave you a favor. So Krishna, he's much less expensive than anyone in this world. The acharyas, they say that we spend our lives serving wicked and miserly masters in this world. Masters who are miserly, they're wicked. They don't want to give us what we're actually worth. They don't want to pay us that. And so, better to go to the original supplier, right? And Krishna makes this very clear in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, all the benedictions offered by other devas, by other people, are in fact offered by me alone. Right? I'm the one who's the original source of it. So if you go to the source, you cut out the middlemen, there's a lot of benefits connected with that. So good point. Why else should we go to Krishna? Yes? Yes, exactly. So Krishna knows, like a parent, Krishna knows actually what we want. Now this is an important point because oftentimes we ask Krishna for X, but what we actually want is Y. And we ourselves don't know what we really want. So what we're asking for is money. What we actually want is security in life. Or what we ask Krishna is, give me, I don't know, a beautiful wife or a beautiful husband. And what we actually are looking for is love and security and comfort in this world, relationship. Right? Often we ask for one thing and we actually mean something else. Just like with children, right? My 5-year-old boy, he'll cry and he'll cry about something. I want this, I want this, I want this. And we know he doesn't want that, right? He's begging and begging and screaming because he wants this food or this toy or whatever. And his mother says, no, you're just tired, you need to sleep. Right? No, I'm not tired, I'm not gonna sleep. And so angry and so frustrated, and the whole world doesn't like me and upset. And then she puts him to bed, and she wakes up and completely satisfied, right? So, no, this is not good for you. We'll give you this tomorrow. Okay, fine. And the same thing makes sense now. What we were saying earlier makes sense. Because his mother recognized his actual need, right? What he really needed. So Krishna is the same way with us. We ask for one thing, but Krishna is there in the heart, right? Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati. He's there right in the core of our heart. And he knows what we actually want, right? What we actually need in this world that will really satisfy us. So Krishna will help us satisfy that real desire, right? Like a parent would. Good point. So Krishna is the source. We should go to him. He's like a parent. He knows our actual needs. Why else should we go to Krishna? What other benefit is there as opposed to others? Yes? Yes. So this is another point, important one, that Krishna will never give us what is not good for us. He will never give us what is not good for us. This is crucial because people often do favors, again, like children, right? A child is crying for some candy. Then, it's like on Halloween day. Children go trick-or-treating, and they go to every home, and the people at the home give the children exactly what they want, which is candy, more and more candy. But when they come home, then the parents give the children not what they want, but as much as they can handle, right? As what is good for them. No, you can have 2 pieces of candy tonight, and then the rest I will keep, and you will get later. So the children get what they want, but it's under limits, right? What is good for them, what is beneficial. So Krishna is the same way. He will give us what we want, but always in a way that is beneficial for us. He's not going to, overdo it. Right? We ask Krishna for the lottery, but Krishna rarely gives us the lottery because he knows it's not good for us. Most lottery owners, they really suffer, Most of them actually go bankrupt. The majority of lottery owners go bankrupt within a few years of winning the lottery because they don't know how to handle that much money. But otherwise, they become depressed, they lose all their friends, they lose their family even because they can't figure out who are their real friends in this world. Everyone becomes your friend after you win the lottery. So Krishna, he's not like that. Right? He'll say, okay, no, you don't need the lottery. I'll give you an extra bonus this year at work. Is that good? You say, okay, that's good. I can handle that. Right? So Krishna, he's kind. He's kind in that way. Right? He gives us what is good for us. But a second point that Prabhu mentioned is that not only does he give us in limited quantity as much as is good for us, he also purifies us of that desire. He gets rid of the desire itself. So ultimately, he gets rid of the root cause of our pain, of our suffering. When someone is begging God every week for the lottery, what is the source of their pain? The lack of money or the desire for the lottery? It's the desire, right? I mean, you can be fine. You can be satisfied with a much more reasonable salary and live happily. But it's that desire which is burning you up and causing you so much suffering. So Krishna, he gets to the root of the problem. He says, look, it's not the money, the lack of money, which is your issue. It's the too much desires, which is your issue. So ultimately, let's get rid of the desire. And he does this with Dhruva Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Dhruva Maharaj comes to him and he says, look, Krishna says, well, ask me now what you want. Dhruva Maharaj was after a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma. And Dhruva Maharaj says, look, Krishna, I was looking for broken pieces of glass, and what you've given me is the most valuable jewel. So with you, I've received the most valuable jewel. So with your darshan. So how can I want anything more? And Krishna still insists that Dhruva take something. It actually take a lot. Because whatever sliver of desire there might be in the heart, Krishna wants that to be completely out. And he doesn't want the devotee to ever say, yeah, I saw Krishna and in the moment it felt really good. After he was gone, I wish I'd asked for that money. He doesn't want there to be ever any regrets in our practice of bhakti. He wants us to be 100% sure that when we go back to Godhead, we are ready to go back to Godhead. We are 100% certain there's not a sliver of doubt at any point on our journey back to Godhead. It says that when we go back to Godhead, we see all the planets of the material world. And we see their different types of enjoyments. So that if there's any possibility, any chance that we might say, well, actually, I didn't quite experience this. I haven't seen this. Then we have a chance, right? Krishna wants to just get rid of it completely so that there's no regrets. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramamama. He doesn't want us to go there and say, actually, I'd like a second try in the material world. That would be terrible. So that's why he gets rid of that desire completely from the root. Whatever it takes. It's a combination of giving us something better, giving us a taste of what we originally wanted, and so that we know it's not as good as we thought it was. Right? So in that way, Krishna finds a balance and finds a way of getting rid of that desire. Why else should we go to Krishna and not to others? We've got some very good reasons so far, but there's more. Why else? Yes, he's the cause of all causes, so why should we go to him? Yes, exactly. So like Shyam Prabhu was saying, he's the origin, he's the source, therefore better to go to the source. Indeed, yes. Yes. So this is a crucial point, that ultimately as devotees, our goal is to build a deeper relationship with Krishna. Whenever we go to someone to ask something, we build a relationship with that person, right? I mean, that relationship becomes deep. Just like if I'm really, really suffering, I'm in need of a lot of help. I lost my job or whatever. And a friend of mine takes me in their home and they keep me for a month. And they help me get back on my feet. That person did me a big favor. What will my relationship be like with that person? I'll be forever indebted, right? Or I should be at least, right? I should remember that and feel close to that person. That, oh, this person helped me. I'll never see that person as an ordinary person again. That person will always be special for me. So if we go to Krishna for help, then we will end up being indebted to Krishna and feeling a sense of closeness, and our relationship will deepen. And that's the point of bhakti. Right? If we need a piece of bread and we go instead to someone else, then we will end up becoming indebted to that person, right? And as the acharyas say, it will become Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He says, what if that person is a wicked and miserly man? Then that person will abuse that relationship to the end of time. But if we go to Krishna, then our relationship with him grows deeper. It becomes closer. We figure out that actually Krishna helped me last time. He's helped me this time. He's helped me so many times in my life. How can I ever repay him? Actually, Krishna, I belong to you. And we come to a point where we can stand in front of Krishna and we can say, Tavasmi. Sakrideva praparno yas tavasmi ti chayachate. Abhayam sarvada tasmai tanami sampradana. That we can come in front of Krishna and we can say, Krishna, I am yours. Actually, now you own me because you've done so much for me. I can't ever repay you. So actually I belong to you. And that is a really good place to be, very secure place to be. So better to ask Krishna. It'll improve our relationship with him. Prabhu, you had another reason? Yes. Yes, yes. So definitely the results become permanent, right? They stay for a long, long time. Uh, um, Krishna doesn't give cheap products. He doesn't give things that wither away over time. He gives things that are eternal. Krishna's benefits will never, ever die. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, it's a lasting relationship, right? It's a lasting relationship with Krishna. Eternal one. He's our true friend in the heart. The, the, the final point I wanted to mention is that when we go to Krishna, what's so nice about that relationship is that just the act of going to Krishna for help, Krishna is so grateful for that. It's a very odd thing in this world. When we go to someone for help, then they help us, we become grateful. Right? Not they don't become grateful. We become grateful because we receive the help. With Krishna is amazing because it's the opposite. We go to Krishna for help, Krishna becomes grateful. Oh, you came to me? Wow, I'm flattered. Right? You would ask me for help. He doesn't need to be. He's already supplying the needs of all living entities. And yet he feels grateful that we come to him. Just think about this, how, when the residents of Vrindavan, for centuries, generation after generation, they worshipped the king of heaven, Indra, for worship. They did all this puja and yajna and so on. And one year, they came under the sway of a 5-year-old boy, and they didn't worship Indra. And what did Indra do? Right? He devastated the people of Vrindavan. He was ready to kill them all, to destroy their lives, their family, and their property. Just for that one slight. And it wasn't even a big deal. I mean, it's not that Indra had some competition. It was a 7-year-old boy, from Indra's perspective. He didn't think it was God, right? So someone is charmed by a child and does something you don't want, I mean, you forgive that person. Indra, no, he got angry. He nearly destroyed them. And Krishna, they worshipped once. They worshipped Krishna, and they come to him for help. And Krishna is ready to lift a mountain to help them. And in English, there's a saying that love moves mountains, they say. In Krishna's case, we see that literally. The love Krishna has for his devotees, the gratitude he had. One time they worship me, Giriraj, Govardhan Puja, and Krishna lifts a mountain and he says, I'll protect you. Right? Lord Ramachandra says the same thing to Hanumanji, and in relation to Vibhishan, he says, Sakre Deva Praparnoyas. You come to me once, he says, and you say, Tavasmi, I am yours. And Abhayam Sarvada Tasmai Dadami Etad Vratamama. He says, to that person, I give them Abhaya, I protect them, I make them fearless every day of their lives. Imagine. So Krishna is a very grateful master. And he tells the gopis in the 10th canto, he says, Naparayeham, I'm not able to repay you for what you have done for me. Even though Krishna is doing everything for the whole world, we come to Krishna and forget worshiping him. We just go to ask something from Krishna. Krishna says, oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you. Right? That's what you call a generous master, right? As opposed to the selfish and miserly masters of this world. So this is why we should go to Krishna if we have a need. If we have a need. We should not be embarrassed. We should be a little embarrassed that we're having to ask Krishna for all this material things. Little bit embarrassed. I'm sorry, Krishna. I'm bringing all these petty needs to you. But who else can I go to? Please, you help me. It's good if we do that. It's the best if we go to Krishna. The question, of course, is the one we started with, which is how? How do we approach Krishna? How do we talk to him? How do we ensure an effective channel of communication between us and Krishna? What's the best way? The good thing is that we don't have to speculate on this matter. We don't have to guess. The Srimad Bhagavatam is full of example after example after example of devotees going to Krishna with their needs. If we had more time, I would ask you for examples, but I just ask you to think in your mind of different examples. Whether it's Uttara going to Krishna to protect her unborn child from the Brahmastra weapon, or whether it's Gajendra going to Krishna because a crocodile has bitten his leg and is killing him slowly, or whether it's Bharat Maharaj who's praying to Krishna because he's fallen from his practice of devotional service, or whether it's Dhruva Maharaj going to Krishna because he wants money and power. There are example after example. The Bhagavatam is full of examples of devotees who are going to Krishna with desires of all different kinds. Liberation, material goods and money and everything, protection, all of that. And you find, if you study these examples from Srimad Bhagavatam of how devotees go to Krishna, you will find a consistent pattern that they use in their approach to the Lord. Even though their desires are different and they're coming from different places and they're different people, they have very consistent patterns of approach in how they ask things for Krishna and what kind of response, how Krishna responds. And so that's our example. The first thing when devotees go to Krishna asking for help, what is the first thing they do in their approach when they ask? Can anyone guess? Prayers, glorification, yes. Even before that, or maybe the first step in that. Yes, the very first thing they do is obeisances, pranama, pranamya. This is the most important thing, the definite thing that happens before any devotee goes to Krishna. And this is encapsulated by just one word in Sanskrit, namaha. Namaha means obeisances to the Lord. You read in the prayers of Queen Kunti, again and again she's offering obeisances. Nama pankaja nabhaya, nama pankaja maline, nama pankaja netraya, namaste pankajangraye. She says, my obeisances to Krishna, from whose navel a lotus flower grows, nama pankaja nabhaya, nama pankaja maline, who's wearing a garland of lotus flowers, nama pankaja netraya, his eyes are like lotus petals, namaste pankajangraye, and his feet are like lotus petals. Right? So again and again, namaha, namaha, namaha. Every mantra that you hear, practically speaking, it begins with namaha, right? Unless it's just Krishna's names, then it has namaha in it. Right? The most important mantra for worshipping Lord Shiva is what? Namah Shivaya. For worshipping Lord Narayana is what? Om Namo Narayanaya. Right? Namaha, namaha, namaha. This is the first thing that a devotee does when they approach Krishna. This is crucial. Right? This is crucial. The act of offering obeisances. It's something so simple that we do before the deities. So how many times we come into the temple, we offer obeisances? It's a simple thing. Right? You can do it in many ways. The basic is just folding hands and bowing head. But if we want to offer more, then we actually put our head on the ground and our hands outstretched. A full offering of obeisances. Dandavat. Well, dandavat. Sashtang, dandavat, vandanam. And dandavat means like a stick. Like a stick on the ground. Why? Why does every devotee offer obeisances first? Why is it so important to offer obeisances? Such a simple thing. What does it do? What does it do for us when we offer obeisances to Krishna? What does it do? Yes. It acknowledges, first of all, at a basic level, it acknowledges that God is the great and I'm small. In every religion of the world, if there's one thing that every religion does, consistent in their practice, is bowing before God. Muslims 5 times a day, they're asked to stand shoulder to shoulder and physically bow to God. And what do they say? What's the basic refrain? God is great. Christians are asked to bow down to God. They go to church, they kneel in front of the Lord. Why? God is great. It's a basic acknowledgement. He is big, I'm small. And in Bhagavad Gita chapter 11, it's the same thing. Arjuna sees Krishna's universal form and he starts to tremble. It's so fearsome, it's so powerful. Obeisances to you from the left, from the right, from the front, and from the behind, Arjuna says. Nama, 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 again and again and again. He doesn't know what else to do. When you're faced with someone that big and that powerful, what can you do but bow down? They say when you meet a bear, grizzly bear, what should you do? Or any dangerous animal. Make yourself as small as possible. Put your head on the ground, right? Offer obeisances. Then even an animal, even a grizzly bear knows, okay, don't worry, you don't have to kill this person. Right? He's small, he's weak. We have to recognize our position before Krishna. But that's out of fear. Better, as you said, if we can do it out of humility. If we can actually surrender our false ego and put it in front of the Lord. Because bowing the head is such an important part of surrendering our false ego. You know, everything we're proud of is up here. Everything we're proud of. We're so proud of how intelligent and smart we are, our brains, right? We're so proud of how beautiful we look. And usually it's not our chest and it's not our knees, it's our face, right? We look in the mirror. We're proud of our hair and how nice it looks. We're proud of our shapely nose and how distinctive it is, and our beautiful teeth, and so much effort, right? So much money we spent trying to fix the teeth and make them all in a straight line and whiten them nicely. All our pride is invested just up here. Even our pride in speech. I'm such a good speaker, I'm such a good kirtan leader. All of that is in the tongue, right? It's in the mouth. This is the source of our pride. This is this head here. It's like a big coconut we carry on our head all the time. So we have to put this in front of Krishna. We have to bow it down in front of him and say, Krishna, actually, I'm surrendering my false ego towards you, to you. This is not such an easy thing to do. You know, it's not such an easy thing. I have seen many times. It may look easy how many times we hit the ground in front of Krishna, if it's a habit, but it's actually not a very easy thing to do. So Krishna proved it. I remember one time in Boise we had this Mayavadi group, this impersonalist group. I won't mention the name, but they're pretty well known. And they were starting programs in Boise, this is many years ago. And their leader came, he and his wife came, the speaker, and as a matter of courtesy, they came to the temple. They were from India, Indians, so they came to the temple to give their respects. And it was amazing, you know, they walked in, and the wife, she immediately bowed her head in front of the deity. The whole visit, I was watching, and the leader, the main gentleman who was running the show, the whole time he could not get himself to bend his neck. Right? It was, everything else was working well, but the neck does not bend before the Lord. Right? So great, so powerful, so amazing, right? But that simple act is impossible to do. And his whole lecture was that God is everywhere. His whole lecture was that God is everywhere. I am God, you are God. But when he sees God in the temple, then he cannot bow. Right? Then God is everywhere, but he's not here in the temple. This is one place I know Krishna is not there. This was his mood, right? And he could not bow. If God is everywhere, you should be bowing your head constantly, right? Sankhya purvaka nama gana natibhi. It says the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Sankhya purva gana nama gana natibhi. Every day they were by regular sankhya purvaka, by scheduled measurement, Prabhupada says, they were bowing down before the Lord. Raghunath Das Goswami was doing what? 1,000 obeisances before the deities and 1,000 before the Vaishnavas every day. So this is not an easy thing. Actually, the most difficult yoga asana of all of the yogic asanas, you know what it is? Dandavats. Dandavats. Offering obeisances. You find yogis, the greatest yogis in this world, they can twist their bodies in every yogic asana, but they cannot lie flat before the Lord or another devotee or the spiritual master. So this is a very important practice, an act of humility, forcing ourselves to go down on the floor. Of course, assuming our physical body can do it, otherwise, but we can bow down in front of the Lord, put our heads to the ground. When, you know the story of when Lord Brahma came to visit Lord Krishna in Dwarka, then he comes to the door and the Dwarpal asks, who has come to see Krishna? And Brahma is really offended by that question. He says, this is Brahma. Tell your master Brahma has come. It's like if Trump came to your door, he said, Trump, who are you? He'd be very offended, right? How can you say such a thing? I'm the only one with a red tie and a black jacket. Right? No one else like that. So Brahma is there, Chaturmukha Brahma with 4 heads. And Krishna sends that messenger back, the gatekeeper back, with the question, which Brahma? Which Trump is here? And Brahma's flabbergasted. And when he finally goes in to see Lord Krishna in Dwarka, right, Lord Krishna understands the pride that is there in his mind. And so he summons all the different Brahmas of the different universes to come. And our Brahma is actually the smallest. We're in the smallest universe. He only has 4 heads. 4 are sufficient for managing the functions of the universe. But other Brahmas, 6, 8, 10, 12, 100, 1,000, millions of heads. And they all come in all their glory, and every single one of them, their heads has a beautiful golden crown on it. And when they all show up, our Brahma feels like he's a tiny little fly on the wall. And the important point is when they come, then Chaitanya Charitamrita describes beautifully that all of these Brahmas, first thing they do is they bow down before the Lord. And when their crowns come crashing down on the ground, it creates a tumultuous sound, right? A crashing sound. It's so powerful. So the point is, this is our process, right? This is our process. By bowing before the Lord, we learn to fear God. We learn that He is great. If we're more fortunate, we will learn some humility to give up our pride. But there's an even more deeper level of offering obeisances to Krishna, besides giving up our pride. Offering obeisances, pranama, can be an act of offering our full selves to the Lord. Everything. Our body, our mind, and our words to Krishna. Body, heart, and words. There's a wonderful verse that Lord Brahma says, actually in his prayers to Krishna. He says, Tattenu kampam susamikshamanam bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hrid bhag vapurbhir vidadhan namaste. Right? He says we have to go through our lives offering obeisances to Krishna. Hrid, bhag, vapu. With our body, our words, and our heart. So getting down on the floor is only the first step. It's only 1/3 of the equation. The second is offering obeisances through our words. So those who are experienced devotees here, they can say that when we offer obeisances, what are we asked to do when we get down on the floor at the same time? Yes, we're asked to repeat Prabhupada's pranam prayers. And if we have spiritual master, we've taken initiation, then spiritual master's pranam prayers and Prabhupada's pranam prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Pranam. And Prabhupada specifically asked this. He said that when you offer obeisances, you should chant the pranam prayers loud enough so I can hear. And the reason was not because it's an ego boost for Prabhupada, that, oh, people are offering obeisances to me, is because unless we offer our words in obeisances, we're not offering our full selves. We have to chant. It should be that obeisance should be loud enough that we can hear, and someone maybe close by can also hear, that we're offering our words to the Lord. And that way, when we offer our body and we offer our words, then maybe we stand the chance of actually offering our heart to Krishna. That we can do it in a deep way. Actually, the act of offering obeisances can be a very, very powerful experience. We do it so often just in a mechanical way, hit the floor. There's actually one, Satsuru Maharaj writes about this in his experience of being Srila Prabhupada's servant. I forget, Satsuru Maharaj or Harishwari Prabhu. As a servant, he was coming in, and you know, when you come into the presence of the spiritual master, you pay your obeisances. Like the deities, when you leave, you pay your obeisances. So he had work to do, so he's coming in, paying his obeisances, going. You're leaving, paying his obeisances. Coming in, paying his obeisances. At some point, third time, Prabhupada says, "What is this hatchet?" And the devotee was confused. Hatchet? What is this hatchet? And by hatchet, he meant you come in and run and pay your obeisances. And Prabhupada's point was what? That you should do it with some meaning, right? If you're going to do it, then do it with some meaning. Say some pranam prayers, do some meaning, do it with some feeling, rather than just as a mode of exercise, hitting the ground again and again. So we want to offer our heart. It says that when Dhruva Maharaj saw Krishna, he got sakshatkara, he got darshan of the Lord, then the first thing that Dhruva Maharaj did was he fell down on the ground like a golden rod, like a stick, dandavat, with his hands outstretched. This is actually a crucial point. When we offer our obeisances, whether we do full or we do half, just with the head, our hands should be out in front of us, not like this. This signifies that we're holding something back. This means that we're giving, that we're giving everything. We're showing Krishna that we have nothing to hide. Right? Imagine, thank you, imagine the physical circumstance you're putting yourself in. Face down on the ground. This is the most vulnerable position we can be in front of Krishna, right? I mean, even if you're lying with your face up, you can see what's coming at you. But if you've got your face on the ground, you don't know, right? Someone could stab you on the back, you don't know what's happening. You're completely making yourself vulnerable before the Lord. You know, when they do professional wrestling, fighting, boxing, then they have to do what in order to win? You have to get the person on the ground and hold them down for, 5 seconds, something like that? And then that person is defeated. Right? Face down on the ground means defeat. Krishna, I belong to you. And hands open in front of the Lord. When you get stopped by a policeman, what's the first thing they want to see? They want to see your hands. Even before the driver's license, right? They want to see your hands. Because they know if the hands are clear, you've got nothing against them. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. So in the same way, when we offer obeisances to Krishna, he wants to see our hands. This is why even when we dance in kirtan, hands in the air, we show Krishna our hands. Look, I have nothing to hide from you. I'm completely vulnerable. Face on the ground, you can do what you like to me. I'm yours. Ashlishyava padaratam pinashtuma. You want to embrace me, you can pick me up and do that. If you want to crush me, pinashtuma, stomp me with your feet, that's okay too. At the highest level, obeisances becomes an offering of one's complete self. And Bhagavatam says that when Dhruva Maharaj fell down in front of the Lord like a golden rod, then in his heart, his hands outstretched, he was taking Krishna's lotus feet and embracing them in the core of his heart. That's how powerful the simple act of offering obeisances can be. We should not underestimate it. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's final instruction to Arjuna, Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Krishna tells Arjuna what he wants. And of all the different things he could have mentioned to Arjuna, of all the different methods of bhakti, he says, Mam namaskuru, offer obeisances to me. So it's not an easy thing. It's not a small thing. It's one of the most important and deepest acts we can do. And yet it's so simple that anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. I have seen this personally with advanced devotees in this movement. You see, I've seen with my spiritual master, I've seen with so many devotees. When you watch them, when they offer dandavats to Srila Prabhupada or to Krishna, and you look at their face when they come up from those obeisances, you'll see the whole face has changed. It's like they've offered their whole lives to Krishna. Every time they offer obeisances, they're offering their life again, Atma Nivedanam, Atma Samarpana, to Krishna. Every moment. And this is the beauty of bhakti. Bhakti means even the smallest thing can become the most powerful and the deepest. The smallest thing, like offering obeisances to Krishna. So this is the first thing that devotees do when they come before Krishna to ask for anything, is they genuinely offer obeisances to Krishna. Namaha. That's the first thing. Now, what's the next thing? What's the next step that they do? Can you guess? Any thoughts, guesses? After you've offered obeisances, what's the next thing? Krishna, here's what I want. Is that the next thing? Not yet. Right? We don't give him our list just yet. What's the next thing? I didn't hear. Yes, we praise Krishna. We say something good about him. We understand this even in the real world, right? Spiritual life is the real world. But even in this fake material world, we understand this point, right? That when someone comes to you and it gives you a lot of praise, then you know what's happening, what's going to happen next. They're going to ask a favor, right? Something to ask. This person has no reason to praise me. I'm not their best friend. Why are they coming and saying so many good things? Right? You soften the person by doing this. Now, Krishna doesn't need flattery, but it's good for us. Right? If we come before Krishna, and before we present him with our long, long list, if we have we take, okay, Krishna, I'll take 1 minute to at least glorify you. Before I come to me, let me think for a minute about you. It's Krishna, he gets sick of people coming before him just thinking about themselves. Imagine if you probably know someone like this in your life. Someone who every time you come they come in front of you, the only thing they talk about is themselves. Right? You know someone like this in your life? Right? Just talk, and you quickly get very sick of that person. This person is just so self-centered. And so Krishna is like that also. The whole world is going before Krishna and just talking about themselves. Krishna, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is what I want you to do for me. And if we take a minute and we say, no, Krishna, I've got some needs, but let me first ask about you. How are you doing? Why are you so wonderful? Then Krishna is really affected by that. And so you find that even in the times of great danger and no time, they will praise Krishna at least for one verse, right? Just like when Arjuna comes before, Brahmastra is coming, Ashwatthama's Brahmastra, Arjuna is coming before Krishna. No time, right? Brahmastra is going to hit you. Even there, one verse, Krishna Krishna Mahabaho, Bhaktanam Abhayankar, Tvameko dahyamananam apavargosi samsite. Krishna, you're the most wonderful, you're the most powerful, you're the one who can deliver fearlessness to your devotees. Okay, now the Brahmastra is going to kill me, please protect me. Right? But even he, 1 minute he takes to praise Krishna, right, before he comes before it. And if we have more time, then we should take more time, right, to praise Krishna. One of the things you see in Srimad Bhagavatam, actually when I was a kid, I remember that we used to read Bhagavatam regularly as part of our homeschooling, and as we'll talk about tomorrow. And I remember we'd read the translations, and as kids, we love the stories, fighting between Hiranyakashipu and Lord Nrsimhadev, or Varaha and Hiranyaksha. But you get through a few verses of action, and then what happens? All these prayers show up, right? And as a kid, it's like, oh no, prayers again. Okay, you are beyond the modes of material nature. You are beyond this. You are beyond that. You're the supreme. So you move through the prayers and quick. But after growing up a little bit and studying Srimad Bhagavatam, you realize that the Bhagavatam actually enjoys the Bhagavatam, that is Shukadev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj, enjoy the prayers more than the plot. Because in the prayers, if you read them carefully, you see the relationship between Krishna and his devotees. You see the relationship. Every devotee offers prayers according to their relationship with Krishna, where they are at. Queen Kunti is praying to Krishna, you helped me in my times of worst distress when my family was suffering. Now, please give me detachment. I've come to a point in life where I have to become detached. As Yudhishthira Maharaj is praying something else, and Gajendra is praying in his own way to Krishna. And everyone has their personal relationship with Krishna, where they're at. If you read the prayers from the residents of Jambudweep, it's a very nice section actually. You find Hanumanji praying in one way, and Lord Shiva praying in another way, and these Gandharvas praying another. And everyone is praising Krishna based on their experience of what Krishna is and what he has done for them. So we can do the same thing. We know Krishna in our own little way. We can come before him and we can praise him. Krishna, you're so kind. Krishna, you're like this, you're like that, you're like that. And if we can't figure out how to pray, and if we don't feel we have the right words to pray, then Prabhupada says it's nice to use the prayers of other devotees from Srimad Bhagavatam. Because in this way we can aspire to come to their level of praising Krishna, of vandanam, of prayer to Krishna. So whatever prayers you like, prayers of Queen Kunti, or prayers of Gajendra, or prayers of Kardama Muni, or whoever's prayers you like from Bhagavatam, find your favorite set of prayers and recite them in front of the Lord. Or memorize 1 or 2 verses that you like. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya. Many of them are not so difficult. And praise Krishna. For a minute, without asking anything. You'll find it such a relief, It's such a relief to stand in front of Krishna without a list in your mind. Sometimes I've had this experience myself. Is you go in front of Krishna, like especially not like day to day, but if you go to like Vrindavan or Mayapur, you think, I'm in the holy dham, I should ask something from Krishna here. Please give me pure prema bhakti. Maybe I'm not ready for that. Please, give me opportunity to serve my spiritual master. Krishna, please give me, give me bhakti, but don't make it too difficult, and don't purify me too fast. Do it slowly. Whatever it might be, right? It gets so confusing and full of trying to figure out I should pray. I should pray for my family. They're back home, and that's not selfish. I can pray for my wife, for my kids, and then you realize actually it's too. Why take on all that stress? It's so much easier just to stand in front of Krishna and say, Krishna, here I am. You are the most wonderful. You are the most beautiful. You are the most amazing. You are the kindest. And just praise Krishna. Then he will know what our desires are. He will know how to fulfill them. He already knows the list, and he'll take care of it. But, okay, fine. You have to give the list. It's okay. Like we said earlier, it's not a problem. But at least take some time. And it's really, really, it's actually the most peaceful and happy thing you can do is stand before Krishna and just admire him, not think about yourself at all. So we find some prayers for some devotees that we like, and we offer them to Krishna. And this is the purpose of the Govindam Darshanarti in the morning. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Prabhupada says, during that time we can offer our own prayers, whatever we like, to Krishna, also as after or as we sing the Govindam prayers or Brahma's prayers. So, we offer obeisances to Krishna, we praise Krishna, and now, at this point, our heart is a little purified. We've taken some time to actually consider that we're standing before the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now, at this point, Prabhupada says we can present our problem to Krishna. Prabhupada says in one place, we can come in front of Krishna and we can say, "Sir, I have a problem." And Krishna will definitely respond. He will definitely respond. 100% certain Krishna will respond. Because he guarantees it, he promises it. Again and again and again in Bhagavad Gita, he says again and again, over and over again. He says, "Kshipram bhavati dharmatma, shashvat chantim negacchati, konteya pratijani, name bhakta pranashati." My devotee will never perish. He says, "Ananyas chintayanto mam, yejana paryupasate, tesham nityabhiyuktanam, yogakshema vahamyam." I carry what they lack, I preserve what they have. He says, I quickly become the deliverer from the, Bhavami na chirat partha. He says, I quickly deliver them from the ocean of repeated birth and death. He says, Sarva dharman paritya mamekam aham tvam sarv mokshayishyami ma shucha. Again and again, Krishna promises in Bhagavad Gita, over and over again, I will help you, I will help you. And we see it throughout the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna does not just help pure devotees. He helps every kind of devotee in Bhagavatam. Every level of devotee Krishna is helping. Those who are selfish, those who are materialistic, anyone who comes before him, Krishna will help. In fact, Krishna is helping even those who don't ask for their help. This is Krishna's wonderful quality. But especially if we go to Krishna for help, Krishna will help us. In my own experience, one of the nicest, most powerful prayers I have found, when everything else fails in life, and you can't think of what to do, and you completely feel hopeless, then this verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 7, when Arjuna comes to the point of complete hopelessness, where he doesn't know what to do, how to solve his problem, he's thought of every solution in the world, he comes before Krishna and he says, Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prichhami tvam dharma samudacheta yat shreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. He says, Krishna, I don't know what to do. I am your disciple, shishyasteham shadimam, instruct me, prapannam, because I'm surrendered to you. And I have found that if we go to Krishna with sincerity and we repeat this verse, if it works for Arjun, it will work for us. Krishna always finds us a way, finds us a path. Of course, we have to be genuinely desperate. We can't say, oh Krishna, I'm stuck in traffic. Oh my God, I'm going to be late. Karpanya dosho pata swabhav prichhami. This is using Krishna, right? Using Krishna. No, we have to be in that condition like Arjun was, where we're really, really, really struggling. And then Krishna, he always helps. Right? There's no doubt about it. Now, this is only half the equation. I don't know actually if we have time for the other half. But if this is the process of how we approach Krishna, we offer obeisances to him, we praise him, and then we submit our request. The million-dollar question is, what kind of response can we expect from Krishna? Because I just made a very strong claim that many people might dispute, which is Krishna always responds. And a lot of the times we feel that he doesn't. What kind of response can we expect from Krishna? If we've gone through our side, effective communication from our side, then what kind of communication can we expect from Krishna? Will he descend on the back of Garuda like for Gajendra and help us? Can we expect that from Krishna? Should we? Should we cover that quickly? I don't know how much time we have for the other half. Should we stop here? We do quickly, so you're not left in suspense all night. So, what kind of response can we expect from Krishna? In many ways, okay. First of all, Krishna can respond in any way he likes. Okay, the first thing is that Krishna's response is not predictable. Devotees' approach to Krishna is slightly predictable. We've seen a pattern that we've just discussed. But Krishna's response is unpredictable. Why? Because Krishna is completely swatantra. He's completely independent. Sometimes he descends on the back of Garuda and uses his chakra to kill the enemy. Sometimes he shows up from a pillar like Lord Nrsimhadev and tears apart the enemy. Sometimes he doesn't show himself at all. He just speaks through the heart of Lord Brahma. Right? Krishna responds in many different ways. So, first of all, it is not predictable, number one. But there are many different responses Krishna makes in Bhagavatam. And one particular kind of response, I think, is especially relevant for our situation. And that is Krishna's response to the demigods. You see, to the devas. You see, in many ways, we are like the demigods. Not as powerful as they are, but the devas are sakama bhaktas. They are devotees with some material desires. Indra goes to Krishna when he's lost his throne and he needs help, right? When the demigods are suffering, they go to Krishna for help. They have certain needs, they have desires. So we are like that often also to Krishna. We go with our needs. So Krishna's response to the demigods is in many ways a response that we can expect for ourselves. It's something that I think is a nice place to begin with in terms of expecting Krishna's response. The first thing we should note, when the demigods have a problem, they go with Lord Brahma to the shore of the ocean of milk. And there they present their problem to Krishna. In response, what happens? Do they see Krishna? No. Krishna speaks to them through Brahma's heart. They hear Krishna's voice. They hear Krishna's voice. This is the first thing we should keep in mind. That when we go with our prayers to Krishna, we should expect a response, but we should not expect anything too dramatic. Right? Sometimes we want something, the heavens to part and flower garland to fall from Krishna's neck or something dramatic to happen, right? It's okay. Sometimes it happens in our life, once, twice, but we should not expect it regularly. Krishna usually, he answers our prayers in much less dramatic ways, just by his voice. And we hear his voice in our lives through Guru, through Sadhu, other devotees, and Shastra, through the scriptures. Each one we could speak so much on, but I'll just mention one, which is the scriptures through Shastra. I don't know if you've had this experience before, but I think many devotees have. If you're in a time of specific need, where you really need answers or guidance or solace, if you take up the Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, you take up Srila Prabhupada's books, you open the book, and the book will directly speak to your problem, to your question. I have had this experience many times. Krishna is living in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Brahma Samhitam. Bhagavatam is directly Krishna himself. It's Krishna's form. It's not dead. So Krishna will speak to us through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada explains that hearing Krishna's voice is as good as seeing him directly. It is our shortcoming that we want to somehow see Krishna with our eyes. We think that's better. That's our foolishness. We see Krishna through our ears and not through our eyes. And Prabhupada says it is identical. It is the same thing to hear Krishna's voice. Through the instructions of Guru, through the guidance of other senior devotees, through the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, we can hear Krishna's voice. He speaks to us. And when the demigods hear Krishna's voice, what is the first thing that Krishna tells them? This is at the time when they go to complain about Hiranyakashipu, that Hiranyakashipu is terrorizing them. And they go before Krishna and they say, Krishna, this is such a big problem. Please help us. We're suffering like anything. And they go through these steps I talked about. And Krishna's voice they hear. And the first thing Krishna says, he says, Jnatameva doratmyam. Jnatameva doratmyam. He says, don't worry. I know the misery that he is putting you in. Jnatam. I know. I know your problem. And this in itself solves half of the devotee's problem. Just the fact that Krishna knows or understands. You know, if you're going through anything in life, if you find someone else who really understands your problem, who will just listen to what your problem is, half your problem is solved. No? If you hear it's like if you feel sick, you go to the doctor, I find you go in front of the doctor and half your disease is fine. Just by seeing the doctor. The doctor says, no, it's okay. You realize, okay, I'm not dying, everything's okay, this is normal, it's all fine, right? Jnatam. He knows, I know the condition you're in. Right? I know the condition. That is Krishna's first and biggest gift. That he is there in the core of everyone's heart and he knows what we're going through. This is called anukampa. Anukampa means mercy. But the literal meaning of the word anukampa in Sanskrit is kamp means what? Kampa means what? Is trembling, right? Trembling. Anu means after or with. To tremble with someone is anukampa. To feel their pain. This is the exact same word in English. Compassion. Passion means to suffer. Come means with. So compassion or mercy means what? To suffer with someone. That is to know their pain. Krishna says, Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnana jamtama nashrayam yatma bhavasto jnana deepening bhava. I am ready to help the devotee. Why? Because of anukampa. Because I understand his pain. I understand your pain. That's why. Krishna is there in the core of our heart and he feels our pain. He knows what we're going through better than anyone else in this world. Better than anyone else. Krishna knows. And that in itself should give us big relief. That someone so strong, so powerful, so wonderful, so generous, so grateful, so kind, so loving, someone like that knows my problem, he will do something about it. So the next line he tells the demigods, Jnatameva doratmyam, I know your problem. And then his promise, Tasya shantim karishyami. I will stop this Hiranyakashipu. Don't worry. Tasya shantim, I will do it. I will take care of your problem. And of course, he's made that promise, as we said, maybe a dozen times in Bhagavad Gita. He's made it all in these other scriptures. In every avatar, he makes the same promise. I will take care of you. I promise, I promise, again and again. He says it again to the demigods. So we know Krishna knows. Then we turn to the scriptures. We hear that Krishna promises, I will take care of you. Name bhakta pranashati. My devotee never perishes. So where's the problem? The hitch, the most difficult part, the punchline in Krishna's statement comes in the last thing he says to the demigods. He says, Kalam tavat pratikshata. You wait, but you wait until the time I am ready to solve your problem. And that is the toughest part about Krishna's response. Kalam tavat pratikshata. He knows our problem. He has promised to fix it. But he will do it on his own schedule, not on ours. And Krishna sometimes delays. Sometimes he delays. Not because he's too busy, but because it's good for us. You see the gap between request and fulfillment of request. That is the period of our growth in our faith, in our Shraddha towards the Lord. Because that is when we are in limbo. Before you ask God, you can't expect a response. But after we ask Him, if He's there, why isn't He responding? Why isn't He doing anything? You look at every single devotee in Bhagavatam that we mentioned. Krishna helps them in every instance. But He always takes time. He takes a little too much time from the devotee's perspective. Gajendra, did He help Gajendra? Yes. How long did Gajendra struggle before Krishna came on the back of Garuda? 1,000 years he fought with him. Right? Prahlad Maharaj, did he help? How many times did Hiranyakashipu try to kill Prahlad before Krishna helped? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, men of limited knowledge, intelligence, alpamedasam, go to the demigods. Because why? They get their desires quickly in this world. It's interesting. He says you get the desires quickly, you go to the demigod. With himself, he promises many, many things in the Gita, but he never promises a quick turnaround time. Ever. He never says quickly. Actually, he does. One place. He says, Kshipram bhavati dharma. Right? But the problem is, you see, Krishna's allocation of time and our allocation of time is very different. What means quick for Krishna, what means quick for us is very different. But during that time, our faith increases. Because we think, will Krishna protect me? Will He help me? Is He there? This is, as a child, I used to wonder that when Hiranyakashipu's men pushed Prahlad off of the cliff to the ground, then Krishna catches Prahlad at the bottom. Yes? And I used to wonder as a kid, I used to think, why does Krishna catch Prahlad at the bottom of the cliff? Imagine what Prahlad is going through as he's falling. Why doesn't He just catch him at the top? Or even the middle? Or why not even just push the people who are pushing him off the cliff? And just get it done with. So Prahlad doesn't have to go through that horrible experience of falling. But the point is, when we get pushed off of a cliff, Krishna doesn't push us. This world is like that. This material nature is like that. Unlimited problems. We get pushed off of a cliff. The reason Krishna waits until the bottom is because that time, that journey down the cliff is our journey of faith. We're heading down and we're praying harder. Krishna, please protect me, please protect me. And then we look down, think, oh, the ground's getting closer, please protect me. Our prayers become more intense. And halfway down, we ask, Krishna, are you listening? I need your help, I'm going to die. And then 3/4 of the way down, we start wondering, Krishna, are you there? Does Krishna even exist? Is there a God? Right? When things get really intense in life, people often ask the question. Even devotees ask the question, is this all fake? Have I been made false promises? Does God even exist? And then at the last minute, Krishna catches us at the bottom. And the devotee thinks, wow, Krishna's so amazing. Why did I ever question you, Krishna? You were always there. Why did I question you? I know one devotee from very senior devotee, amazing preacher, Prabhupada's disciple, Grihastha, from London. And he got a severe case of cancer in his 60s. And he was telling me that, when he got diagnosed with cancer, he was asked to go from one doctor's office to another in the hospital. And hospitals, they're so white and sterile, and he was walking through this underground passageway under 2 buildings, like the hospital buildings are often connected. And these fluorescent lights, and he was alone in this passageway. Fluorescent lights, sterile, and this hum of machines that you hear. in the hospital. And he said, I felt so alone. I felt, he said, that Krishna had abandoned me. I was thinking in my mind, Krishna, after all my years of service, this is how you reward me? This is how you repay me for everything I've done? I have nothing. And this is a devotee who really has given his life to Krishna, right? No 401k, no bank account, none of that. He's just given his life to Krishna. Amazing devotee. And this is how you repay me? And he felt abandoned. He felt betrayed by Krishna. And he said he went through this whole process of treatment, and actually somehow he was able, the cancer went in remission, and he's healthy now, and he was cured. And after one of his final visits with the doctor, with the oncologist, the doctor was telling him, oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you something. I hope you realize just how lucky you are. He said, you came in for a regular annual physical. And had your regular physician not noticed something amiss, and had you delayed in finding this cancer by a few days even, you would have been dead today. It had just come to a point where it was approaching some very critical organs in his body. And at that moment, he said something changed, and he realized that Krishna had been protecting him all along, right? That he was just there. And he said, from this feeling of abandonment and betrayal, he said, it switched, and I felt this incredible sense of both guilt and gratitude. That Krishna, how could I have ever doubted you? That you are so wonderful. You're always there to protect me. How could I have ever doubted that you were actually there? There's that beautiful song in English. It's a Christian song called Footprints in the Sand. You've heard that? A very famous one. That a person looks back in their life and says that throughout my life there were always two sets of footprints, oh Lord. I saw you were always walking next to me. But in my worst times in my life, there was only one set of footprints. How could you abandon me in my most difficult times? And then the Lord responds in that song. He says, my dear child, you don't know that during those times, yes, there was one set of footprints, but those footprints were mine. I was carrying you through those most difficult times. You just did not see me. So this is Krishna's way of responding, right? He's not like the demigods. Krishna will take his time in his response. He will take his time to build our faith, to make sure that we recognize that it is him. Because whenever we ask Krishna, we ask Krishna for X, we're desperate, but we always keep plan B in mind, in case Krishna doesn't respond. Plan B is always there, the insurance plan. And then when things go right, then we always give credit to plan B. We say, we give credit to ourselves. We say, I had such a good plan in mind. I had arranged everything nicely. I'm a quick thinker, So we give credit to ourselves. So Krishna, what he does is he waits. He waits until we try all of our plan B and plan C and plan D, and we try everything. Like he did with Arjuna. All our solutions. Krishna says, you try this, you try this, you try this, like you did with Draupadi also. Right? You try this. Try going to your husband, see if they will help you. Try going to grandfather Bhishma, see if he will help you. Try holding on with your own strength. See if you can manage. And when we give up finally, then Krishna says, okay, now I can help. Because now you will acknowledge, you will recognize the fact that it's actually me who's helping you. And Krishna does that not because he wants the credit, but because he wants that relationship. We are so unfortunate that we refuse to give Krishna credit, even when he does something for us. So he says, okay, I'll force you. This is Krishna's relationship with the devotee. He says, I'll force you to recognize me. I'll wait until you're forced to acknowledge it's me. And then our relationship will grow strong. And it does. Each time Krishna does this with a devotee, don't worry, because he won't do it to an extent. He won't push us off of a cliff immediately. Right? He does little tests first. He does it at a level we can handle. And each time Krishna comes through with our trials in life, we think, wow, Krishna's so kind. He's so wonderful. And the next time it happens, some problem, a little bit worse, we look back And we think, Krishna helped me that time, right? So I'm sure he'll help me this time. Our faith is a little bit stronger, so we can deal with something a little bit worse. And then when a greater problem comes, now we're all ready for it because we've had 2 experiences of Krishna helping us. And gradually as we work our way through life, we can come to a point where Krishna can do anything to us. He can push us off a cliff if he wants. He won't, again. Means the circumstances of the material world are like that. Anything we can go through, and we will not be afraid. We will not lose our faith in Krishna. Someone shoots a brahmastra at us, and we will be confident. Rakshishyati iti vishvasaha. Krishna will protect me. Right? And this is the symptom of surrender, of the different limbs of surrender. One of them is Rakshishyati iti vishvasa. The firm conviction, vishvasa. Krishna will protect me. There is no doubt in the devotee's mind. Okay, so that we end there. This is our humble submission. Tips for talking to Krishna. How we can approach Krishna, in what way for effective communication, and how we can expect Krishna to communicate in return, how that he can get back to us. So thank you all so much for your attention. Yes. So the thing is that it's a good question. The question is, well, in a practical level, how do we know when to approach Krishna? We often find that we do need to approach our boss or a family member or so on. So the thing is that we have to recognize the fact that Krishna often does help through others, right? Like I said, we don't expect anything too dramatic from Krishna. And so often Krishna's help, we pray to Krishna for help. We get help from so many different ways, from a boss, from a stranger, from a family member, from anywhere, even from an insurance company, right? I was drawing a contrast, but sometimes Krishna can help like that, Our house is on fire and then an insurance company comes through. We get a very generous payout. And then, okay, Krishna helped me in this way. So it's not that the devotee sees, only something has to happen from the altar. The devotee sees Krishna's hand in every place and in every circumstance and every time. But the key is that he sees Krishna's hand in those circumstances rather than seeing, this is happening as a result of my intelligence, my endeavor, or as a result of some favor from some limited person, right? So in other words, the key is we may go to ask a family member or we may go to ask a boss or someone like that. But our expectation is with Krishna only, right? The problem is we put our expectations with these material masters and then we become disappointed and we become frustrated and we become angry and our relationships suffer. That we have certain expectations from a family member. Why couldn't you help me in my time of need? Or why couldn't this friend be there? And then we have to understand, okay, Krishna is my true friend. He chose not to help me through that person, but he helped me through this person. So why am I so angry at this person? Right? It happens in life. Someone doesn't help, we become upset that you weren't there, you never even asked about me, you never even helped me. But we say, no, this person is not my ever well-wisher. And most importantly, this person is not the Paramatma in my heart. Right? So how can my husband or wife or my uncle or aunt know what I need and when I need it and how much I need it? They cannot know, right? The true, they are not anukampa. They're not seated in the heart feeling my pain. So we may, as a practical matter, yes, we should approach people. And we should be grateful when they do help us. A devotee is always very grateful, right? Because this is Krishna's quality. So a devotee also has this quality. But we should not have false expectations. Because expectation we can only have from Krishna. He's the only safe person to have expectation. Then our asking will be with detachment. Please help us. Then we don't get help, okay, fine. Krishna, whatever it is, their circumstances, they don't understand what, then I'm not in anxiety, I don't feel angry towards them, I don't suffer. Yeah? Yes. Yes. we see in Bhagavatam many instances where devotees have felt lost or abandoned or helpless. And this is actually we had to do this in a very condensed time. So one element of it that we left out. But in praising Krishna, the most important ingredient and the essential ingredient when we don't have the capability to do other prayers for whatever reason, lack of time or anything else, is we get choked up. Then we call out Krishna's names, holy names. The holy name is the most basic, most fundamental, and most powerful prayer. And it is the essential ingredient of every prayer. That one verse prayer that Arjuna asked, I mentioned, when Brahmastra is coming at him, you can imagine, I mean, he maybe was not choked up out of abandonment, but probably out of fear and panic. What comes out of his mouth? Twice, the first thing that comes out, Krishna, Krishna, Mahabharata, right? Krishna, Krishna, Krishna's name, instantly. And then when Draupadi, right, she's a prime candidate for feeling abandoned. She was abandoned by everyone in her life. Right? 5 husbands and not one could stand up to protect her. She's abandoned. Right? But what comes out of her mouth? Govinda, Pundarikaksha, Rakshamam, Sharanagata. Govinda, O Lotus-eyed Lord, please protect me. Right? So Krishna's holy names is the fundamental, basic, simplest, and most effective form of prayer when we are out of options, or we can think of no options, or nothing else comes to mind. When we're at the moment of death, we are lucky if our memory works, if we can think of any prayer in our mind. Best thing we can do, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Just if we can chant Krishna's holy name, then we go back to God, right? So when in times of abandonment, nothing comes out of the mouth, just say Krishna's name, that's all. Then we don't have to use the brain too much. We don't have to articulate our emotions, just Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Yeah, then we chant the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. So that's a good place to stop with Krishna's holy names. Thank you all again so much for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.